on 30th Street, midway between 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue. Take a look at the transformation of New York. You can see this big Hudson Yard development. This is just from the distance to give you an idea of how this western side of New York in the Midtown area is going to just transform itself very soon. With tens of thousands of people working in this area, this whole area is going to become really different. Here we're a little closer to the Hudson Yards development at 30th and 9th Avenue. You can see how impressive all the buildings are and how much development is going on. And even there in the distance, you can see at 31st and 9th Avenue, some more development that's going on. It's just so impressive seeing all this development. And all the big players in real estate from the New York and also US area are involved. They're all trying to make sure that they're part of the action. Even the ambulance wanted to be part of the action. But here, you can see all the development that's happening. And this whole area is going to be so significantly changed. Now that building in the distance is taking a long time to go up, but it's going to be a huge building. And that's why they're doing such a sturdy construction job. Now here at 31st and 9th Avenue, you can have a better look at this huge project that is going to be constructed. It's going to be just amazing. And Brookfield, which is a large Canadian real estate firm, is basically creating this building here. But you can see in the distance even more buildings. There, it's like an amazing building that went up, and other buildings are going up in the area too. So as I said earlier, once all this is done, it's just going to be phenomenal. And you can see, just for perspective purposes, that there's the post office, which occupies an entire block right here. And you can see how amazing it is. And there in the distance, on the right-hand side, is Madison Square Garden. That's at 31st and 8th Avenue. That occupies a whole block also. Isn't it amazing? And there in the distance is the Empire State Building. But this is just to give everyone a little bit of perspective with the development that's going on here in New York. It's really incredible when you see it, but it was a long-term plan, as I mentioned to other people in another video, that it just didn't appear overnight. It took many, many years of planning to even achieve this. You can see here again how amazing this is. This is a closer view of the Eugene. That's the building that we were taking videos of earlier. You can see how tall it is. And it's scheduled to open in the spring of 2017, ready for leasing. And here you can see a better view of the other large building that Brookfield is creating. That is just going to be amazing when you see it. Brookfield has a very good reputation for construction and management of the various buildings. That's why they chose to develop this Hudson Yards area, because they knew that it's going to be an ideal spot to have office space and have other developments. And they're going to do a great job. And here, look at in the distance, all the beautiful buildings that are here. So someone working here at this property is going to be able to easily commute using Penn Station to various parts throughout the city. It's just going to be ideal. That's why there was such competition from various developers to be able to help develop this space. And so here again, there's some other buildings in the distance. That building that is shiny, that looks like steps, was actually reclad because the owners of that wanted to sell it about 15 years ago. But they realized that when Hudson Yards was going to be created, it was going to be a much more valuable property than if they just sold it 15 years ago. So what they did is they invested in putting up a new exterior on the building. And that was, I think, a very smart move, because now with all this new development out in this area, near the Hudson Yards area, near 31st and 10th Avenue, 31st and 9th Avenue, it's going to be a much more valuable property. And the earlier owners and current owners are Angelo Gordon, the real estate company. you can see it's just a beautiful building there. And with all these other properties around being developed, it's just going to be a fantastic place to work. And it already is. A lot of technology firms are in there. A lot of really top-notch hedge funds are there too. So people already know about it, already like it, because it's close to New York, close to Manhattan, close to transportation, but yet not too close, so that you don't have to worry about all the congestion. Here's a little closer look at the building that was reclad by Angelo Gordon. It's one of the larger buildings too in New York in terms of office space. That's one of the most impressive things about it. You can see in the distance there the space of the building. Here's another angle at around 31st and 10th Avenue. This building is just going up and up and up. It's going to be a major development. You can see here all this other space that earlier was under construction, and now it's much more developed. It gives everyone a really good chance to see what the development is like for this huge project. It's one of those mega projects that New York has, which New York has many of them. And just to give you perspective, that's the building that we passed, the Eugene, that's going to be opening up in the spring of 2017. And like there in the distance is Penn Station. So that's just to give everyone a little bit of perspective where everything is. We're here at 33rd and 10th Avenue. This again is just to allow everyone to see a perspective of the construction. And this building that we're right up against is the building that has been reclad that I was telling you about. But you just can't see it as well because we're just so close. You can see all the construction in the distance where they're still working on the sidewalk, still working on making everything really nice for the exterior. But yet even as they're working, people are on the inside of this building. They just are trying to reposition the building to a higher value building, even though they're by putting in a lot of money. So you can see here, this building here, beautiful job architecturally, which it's still being built. There in the distance, right near the subway station, is another building, because they just opened up about a year and a half ago another new subway station for the number 7 train right near that building. So it's going to make it very convenient. And the Related actually is putting up another building right here. And they actually purchased the McDonald's that used to be there for about $120 million because the owners of the McDonald's refused to sell. But as always happens, they were offered the right price, then they decided to sell. So now that's allowing for construction on that site where the McDonald's used to be. And it was a very good corner, 34th Street and 10th Avenue. Perfect. So, but also perfect for a nice, large construction project too. You can see here, other buildings going up. I just can't wait until all this is finished. It's just going to be fantastic seeing that once it's all done. And here we are at 34th Street and 10th Avenue. You can see the New Yorker building in the distance there. And it's amazing seeing all the construction going on. Here, another new construction project right there. And some more projects. But again, this is so that like everything can be seen from an observer's point of view who might not be so familiar with the city. And there in the distance is the Jacob Javits Center. You can just make it out. That's around 12th Avenue and 34th Street. One of the biggest convention centers in the United States. A really nice convention center for New York too. You can see here all the brilliant construction going on. That's the building that's still going up. So here you can see all the beautiful buildings going up. This is more of a view of Hudson Yards. This is right behind that beautiful building that was clad that we were taking videos of right here. But you can see even more construction going on. And there's more projects set to go up also. So these are just not the only projects. It's just that they don't want too much going up at the same time. And this is the new subway station, the number 7 train at 34th Street and Hudson Yards. That's going to be a really big benefit to a lot of the people that are around here. You can see the new parks they have here, but once everyone starts working here, this number 7 train is going to be essential. And can you imagine the thousands of people that are going to be in this train every day, every trip? It's going to really be amazing. And right now, when you're on the stop in Times Square after the 34th Street stop, there's no one on the train. But I'm betting, and I'm sure, that once all these buildings are up and running, it's going to be crowded, because that's going to be the way for people to go from here to the west side and the transportation hubs, and from here to the east side in Grand Central to the transportation hubs. It was really a smart move. That's one great thing about the administrations in New York. They're very business minded, and they're willing to think long term. And it was like a big investment to do this, and people were reluctant to do it, but I think their initiative was to create this investment project and to add new revenue to New York City. That's one of the benefits of this, the added revenue. Like, it's the Hudson Yards, railroad yards, where people were just keeping trains. Here, it's going to be transformed. Now, the history behind this is that they actually wanted to build a stadium, giant stadium here. But a lot of the community said, no way. Like, if you build a stadium here, they're going to have like 50,000 people driving into the city. It's just going to create chaos. So after a lot of discussion, a lot of disagreements, they finally came to the conclusion that they wanted this real estate development here. They put it out to bids. It wasn't easy at first, because a lot of different developers had their own concepts of what this was going to be like. But you can see here, with everything that's going on, it's going to be a phenomenal project. And you can see here, as time moves on, it's going to get better and better. And this is just one beautiful day. And I'm sure next year, it'll still be under construction. But that's the way this works. You know, it takes a long time to develop all these projects. But as one building comes online, like this building, there'll be other buildings still under development. So this is looking north from Manhattan, and we're in between 10th Avenue and 11th Avenue. So those are other projects that developers had already put up a number of years ago, anticipating the development of the west side, anticipating the development of Hudson Yards. Now this is a little bit better view. So you can see here everyone around, all the buildings going up, all the construction. They had laid the platform over the railroads. This used to be an open area, but it took them years to put down the platform so that the buildings could be set up, so that pedestrians could walk around. But though you might look at this and say, you know, that's odd that they're going to have a platform over railroads, they have this also in Manhattan. Park Avenue, for example, used to be open. Then they put a lot of railroads under Park Avenue, and they covered over the railroads. So now you have Grand Central with a lot of rail lines under the streets. So it works out really well. It just takes a lot of initial investment. That's not easy to do. You can see here all the beautiful buildings. Then if you look far enough, you can see the Hudson River, almost Hudson River. But you can see in the distance everything going on. Just imagine all the people here in a few years, just milling about, enjoying beautiful days in this park and elsewhere.